Hello friends, today we are going to study about strategic human resource management. The prerequisite for understanding this module is basics of human resource management. After studying this module, you should be able to understand the strategic human resource management process. So before studying or discussing in detail the concept of strategic human resource management, we will study the concept of strategic management. John Pierce and Robinson defined strategic management as a number of decisions and actions resulting in formulation and implementation of strategies aimed to achieve the objectives of an organization. So the main elements of this definition is strategy. So now the question arises, what basically is a strategy? We can define strategy as a plan of action designed to achieve a long-term or aim or objective. The term strategy has origins in military operations or defense. So, in military operations or defense, strategy is defined as the art of planning and directing overall military operations and movements in a war or battle. Similar to war-like conditions, today's business environment also, the companies or business organizations compete amongst themselves to capture the maximum market share in order to maximize profits. In the process, they formulate strategies to attract customers and to increase the sales of their products or services. So the notion of strategic management basically comprises of a set of decisions and actions resulting in formulation and implementation of a strategy to achieve organizational objectives. So there are certain elements of strategic management. The first element of strategic management is analysis and diagnosis. It involves determining the environmental problems and opportunities, that is, the internal strengths and weaknesses of the organization, and recognizing problems and opportunities in the environment. So, this is basically an environmental analysis process. Here, what we do is basically SWOT analysis. That is, we try to analyze the strength and weakness of the organization, which are internal to the organization. Again, we try to scan the opportunities and threats in the market, which are basically external to the organization. So here we basically collect information or market information, analyze those data, and based on the analysis we try to solve the problems. In the second step, that is choice or formulation of alternatives, that is different strategies, it is the process of generating alternative solutions to the problem, or the process of generating different strategies to address the problem. And after doing cost benefit analysis, we select the best alternative strategy for implementation. In the third element is implementation, that is the strategy selected in the second step requires its execution. So it is involves making the strategy work by creating an environment or organization structure conducive to implementation of the selected strategy, and as well as developing appropriate plans and policies. The fourth step element, evaluation, involves review of results after implementation of the strategy and future possibilities. It involves determining whether the strategy is working as per our desired objectives or some necessary modifications are required. In this slide, we will discuss about the strategic management process. The contents of this slide are very much similar to our earlier slide. So the first step of strategic management process is formulating vision and mission. The strategic management process requires a clear and vision and mission statements for an organization. The vision statement of the organization conveys the future it envisages and the goal it uh, tries to accomplish in the near and distant future. Similarly, the mission statement pronounces the purpose of the organization. In strategic management, the mission and vision provide the essential supporting structure for strategic planning within the organization. In fact, it gives the direction to the whole organization and helps the decision makers to determine the priority of their activities. The second step of strategic management process is environmental analysis. Environmental analysis requires collecting market information, its careful analysis for strategic purposes. It basically involves the exercise of SWOT analysis as discussed in our previous slide. It is very much necessary for managers to remain up to date and aware of their external environment and utilize this knowledge as a critical input in the strategic decision making process. A successful strategy depends to a great extent on the ability of the managers to analyze the environment with accuracy. The third step of strategic management process is strategy formulation. It involves determining the course of action suitable for achieving organizational objectives. After carefully analyzing the environment, the top level managers should create different alternative strategies to address the problem or to find out the route to achieve organizational objectives. And after careful cost benefit analysis, the appropriate strategy should be selected for implementation. The fourth step is strategy implementation. So after selecting the best alternative strategy, it requires the chosen strategy to be put into action. In the strategy implementation stage, organizations mostly concentrate on the techniques required for effective execution of strategies. Some organizational changes may be required in terms of policy, organization culture, for creating an environment conducive for the execution of selected strategy. The final step of strategic management process is performance evaluation. So it might be possible that during the intervening or period of strategy formulation and its execution, the premises on which the strategy were formulated may change. So this may create a gap between formulation and implementation periods of a strategy. So it is essential for the managers to continuously assess the performance of each strategy after its execution and also during the process of its execution. As such, strategic management is a continuous process. So based on performance evaluation, if we find that our strategies are not giving the desired result or during the execution process we are not getting the desired result, necessary changes may be required required in terms of strategy implementation. The evaluation also requires comparing the actual performance of the strategies against the set standards to identify the performance gaps and initiating necessary adjustments if the gap exceeds tolerance limits, like modifying the strategies, revamping performance objectives, redefining business vision and mission if necessary. So now in this slide we will discuss the concept of strategic human resource management. Strategic human resource management is a part of the bigger circle of strategic management which we discussed earlier. Strategic human resource management basically relates to the human resource or employees of the organization. Wright and Macmillan define strategic human resource management as a system relating to human resource suited to the requirements of the business strategy. Miles and Snow defined it as the pattern of planned human resource activities directed to enable an organization to achieve its goals. It integrates customary or uh, human resource management actions within a firm's strategic planning and execution. The main advantage of strategic human resource management is that it provides competitive advantage, and strategic human resource management is continuously evolving with advancement of technology and research in this field. Strategic human resource management may also be expressed as the organizational use of employees to acquire competitive advantage over competitors and involves bringing in initiatives tips for achievements of organizational goals and objectives. Perhaps the most drastic change in role of human resources today is its increasing involvement in formulating and implementing the company's strategy. There are generally five approaches to strategic human resource management. The first approach is resource based strategy. The basic purpose of resource based HR strategy is to develop strategic capability, that is achieving strategic fit between the resources of the organization and the opportunities provided by the environment. A resource based approach strategy addresses methods of enhancing the firm's strategic capability by developing managers and other staff who can think and plan strategically and understand the key strategic issues. The second approach is strategic fit. The HR strategy should be in tune with the business strategy. It would be better if the HR strategy is an integral part of the overall business strategy, assisting the business planning process as it occurs. This will help in the accomplishment of objectives of the business strategy. The purpose is to adopt a coherent way to managing people when different practices are mutually existing and assisting. The third approach of human resource management is high performance management approach. It purports to make an impact on the performance of the business through its people in different areas that result in increased shareholder value. High performance management practices contain strict recruitment and selection procedures, wide ranging training and management development efforts, incentive pay and reward systems, and performance management systems. The fourth approach is high commitment management approach. It emphasizes on the significance of increasing mutual commitment. So it's a form of management directed at drawing out a commitment so that behavior is basically self-regulated rather than sanctions and controls by the top management, and relations in the organization rest on high levels of mutual trust. The fifth approach is high involvement management. This approach treats employees as stakeholders in the enterprise whose interests are honored and who have a say in the issues concerning them or in the decision making process. It is concerned with communication and involvement. So the purpose is to create a climate in which a dialogue between managers and employees of the organization is feasible. So this establishes mutual understanding for achievement of organizational objectives. In this slide of advantages or benefits of strategic human resource management, we will try to understand the different benefits of implementing strategic human resource management process in an organization. In fact, this slide is very important as it addresses the question why strategic human resource management is so relevant in today's business world. So, strategic human resource management allows identification, prioritization, and uh, exploitation of opportunities provided by the environment for attainment of organizational objectives. It also provides an objective view of management problems. It also creates a framework for improved coordination and control of activities. It minimizes the effects of adverse conditions and changes. Strategic human resource management allows major decisions to better support established objectives, that is, attainment of organizational vision and mission. It also allows more effective allocation of time and resources to identified opportunities. It allows fewer resources and lesser time to be devoted to correcting erroneous or ad hoc decisions. So it leads to optimum use of resources of the organization and time management. Strategic human resource management also creates a framework for internal communication among the employees of the organization. It helps to integrate behaviors of individuals into a total effort, that is the overall organizational effort to achieve organizational vision. Strategic human resource management also helps in forward thinking, means to plan for long-term goals. It provides a cooperative, integrated and enthusiastic approach to tackling problems and opportunities. Strategic human resource management encourages a favorable attitude towards change. It also gives a degree of discipline and formality to the management of business. So here is the basic summary of this HRM module on strategic human resource management process. Strategic management basically consists of decisions and actions arising from formulation and implementation of strategies established to achieve the objectives of an organization. Strategy settles the strategic moves and scope of an organization for the long term. The function of strategic human resource management or strategic management or formulation of strategies is the function of top level managers. Strategic human resource management basically involves the human resources or employees of the organization. The process of strategic management involves establishing vision and mission, environment analysis, strategy formulation, strategy implementation, and performance evaluation. So, in simple, strategic human resource management may be expressed as the organizational use of employees to achieve a competitive advantage for attainment of organizational goals. Thank you.